It is the panic of the plutocrats. The oligarchy is terrified about what they are seeing now in the streets of Manhattan and in the streets of cities all over this country.
Yeah, the Occupy Wall Street movement has blossomed in cities and small towns from coast to coast, from Occupy Boston to Occupy San Diego, with more and more diverse groups joining to protest corporate greed. You heard Glenn Beck there warning fellow plutocrats they're going to come and drag them out of their homes and kill them.
Oh, good Lord.
And now Occupy Wall Street is occupying the State Department. Climate action youth group 350.org organized Occupy the State Department over the weekend, calling on Secretary of State Hillary Clinton to deny approval of the proposed Keystone XL pipeline across the Midwest. The 1,700-mile Keystone XL pipeline would carry dirty oil from the tar sands of Canada 1,700 miles across the farmland and aquifers of the Midwest, all the way to ports at the Gulf of Mexico. NASA climate scientist James Hansen has warned that if the pipeline is built, allowing full exploitation of the Alberta tar sands, it will be, quote, game over for the climate. And because the protesters are not allowed to use electronic amplification, 350.org founder and climate activist Bill McKibben spoke via the human microphone in front of the State Department to amplify his words for all to hear.
That's why we can never do anything about global warming.
That's why we can never do anything about global warming.
Exxon gets in the way.
Exxon gets in the way.
Goldman Sachs gets in the way.
Goldman Sachs gets in the way.
The whole fossil fuel industry
The
gets in the
whole
way.
fossil fuel industry gets in the way.
The protesters did not spare criticism of President Barack Obama either.
We have to free Obama.
We have to free Obama.
Because there's some kind of stunt double there now.
Because there's some kind of stunt double there now.
You know, it's very funny. Fox News just can't wrap their brain around these protests. They think that this is Barack Obama leading these protests. And I've seen as many people critical of Obama and the Democrats as I have anything else during this very real grassroots uprising.
And if it seems like corporate media coverage of Occupy Wall Street is lopsided, how about this? The corporate media and House Republicans have generated copious coverage on the bankruptcy of solar panel maker Solyndra, but aren't interested in newly released State Department emails showing a very cozy relationship between State Department officials and TransCanada's chief lobbyist, who also happens to be a former Hillary Clinton campaign official. In fact, a new analysis by Media Matters shows that the flood of corporate media coverage of the Solyndra bankruptcy dwarfs coverage of the Iraq war contracting abuses and corruption by a ratio of 5-to-1. But the biggest bombshell, thinkprogress.org reports that the State Department has now admitted that a Houston-based private contractor it hired to conduct the environmental review of the pipeline, saying it was no big deal, was actually recommended by TransCanada. Even though that contractor had previously worked on projects for TransCanada, the contractor calls TransCanada a major client in its marketing materials, and that contractor will likely work on the pipeline if approved, which is a potentially illegal conflict of interest.
So the Obama-Clinton State Department is teaming up with corporate cronies here, but the Republicans have no problem in this case because the corporate cronies happen to be working on something the Republicans care about?
Apparently.